This film is about bouldering, a form of climbing with no ropes or harnesses, and it's a sport I'm hugely passionate about. Documenting bouldering would be the perfect situation to test out the LUMIX S5's capabilities, so I got to planning and had to think about where I could shoot this film. Immediately, the Peak District came to mind, as I've seen some images of people climbing on the huge rock formations in the past, and it wasn't too far from where I lived. Climbing uses a combination of strength, technique, skill, and mindset, and in this film we follow Tom, a climber based in Manchester, and observe as he combines those elements to conquer the climb called Not to Be Taken Away. I shot basically everything in vlog aside from a few shots, and it was a really interesting way to see how the 10-bit footage held up on a relatively heavy grade, and it didn't disappoint. Adding a lot of contrast, decreasing the shadows and blacks, adding more saturation can tend to break colours up, but the vlog footage held up well, and I was thoroughly impressed with the grading potential. This was my favourite shot from the shoot. About 95% of the film was shot completely handheld, and the IBIS within the camera performed really well. It was the best out of all the cameras I've ever used, and it made me more confident in shooting smoother footage without a gimbal. The last act was filmed in the Depot Climbing Centre in Manchester. I had planned to show shots of Tom practicing the exact moves of his outdoor climb indoors in a climbing centre. It was an opportunity to test out the low-light capabilities of the LUMIX S5. The dual native ISO helped massively here, as I could bump it up to the second circuit at ISO 4000, and it felt like I had a completely new sensor. The noise in the shadows reduced even when shooting in vlog, and I got a clean image from the camera. I didn't use any noise reduction in the final hero video, as I wanted to keep it as close as possible to what the sensor outputted. The film is called Ascend, and I hope it inspires more people to try out the sport of bouldering and climbing.